average Muslim, and I'm just gonna be honest because I think people sometimes don't hear this. A lot of times people see an organization, like there's clergy, nini. Their feeling is not that they don't want to be part of the organization, but their thinking is that this does not belong to us. That's something that I'd not even quite thought about. There's another controversial aspect that happened here within the US, which some Muslims agree with, some Muslims don't, whereby there's some Muslim organizations that are telling you to buy, like a burial plot in advance. But the question comes, and especially sisi wa Islamu, you don't know where you're gonna die. Correct. Just the same way, like
that doesn't make sense.
My grandmother, 90 years old, lived Kenya all her life, traveled to America a couple of times. She comes and she dies here. There's no question, we're burying her here. Like there's no question, like nothing else. With my grandmother, we actually buried her. She died at before 6 a.m. We buried her the same day. It
was.
Yes, it was the same day. It was the same day. So it's a controversial concept, which some people say you cannot buy your burial plot, yet you don't know exactly where you're gonna die.
Especially for Muslims.
I guess maybe those are for the local, quote unquote, the local Muslims. But still, you're right.
Even when you're local,
you still don't know if you're gonna be in Ohio, and that happens,
or you're gonna be on a trip abroad.
Correct.
Because anywhere where there's a Muslim community, like it's encouraged not to, they will take you and they will bury you. Even if you're a visitor and no one, even if you're in Cancun and there's a Muslim community in Cancun, they'll find you and they will take care of your funeral.
USA 1, Vietnam 0. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Good interlude.
Let me read some comments over here. Some very interesting one. Pablo asked about a polygamous family.
I think that was answered.
Yeah.
It's illegal in Maryland.
Slay says, please, where can I sign up to be a Muslim? I think Ali, you have a job over there.
Okay, inbox.
Okay,
Inbox.
Pablo says, Ali Badawi, there goes an opportunity for you and some of your community members to set up a similar product that, that can work for you. Just
okay, all right.
Washeke says, very true. Also, how we have Christian religious leaders steering Kenyan community organizations, but we are not all Christians. That was to your point that you feel like Muslims are not included.
So real quick, I'll talk about the average Muslim. I mean, for me, I'm very interactive with all Kenyans, but I'll talk about the average Muslim, and I'm just gonna be honest because I think people sometimes don't hear this. A lot of times people see an organization, like there's clergy, nini. Their feeling is not that they don't want to be part of the organization, but their thinking is that this does not belong to us. Your average Kenyan Muslim.
Is it authored? Is it authoring a practice?
I don't know whether it's othering, but it's just one of those situations where
if you don't belong, it means you ni yao.
Yeah.
But like mbona ni yao? How come we can't be part of it?
I don't think it's that people feel like they are not they've been sidelined. I think the feeling is that the same way like we might have our organizations, so they feel like even if it has a tag Kenya besides it, they feel like hili ni kundi lao. This is the organization. So I'll tell you this: a lot of Kenyan Muslims here in Maryland are mostly in Tanzanian groups, because that's where they feel accepted. And I know this is a very uncomfortable conversation.
No, actually, that's very shocking. Not even uncomfortable, it's very shocking.
Yes, there's groups
why
like...
Why do they feel that way?
Tamko, Tanzanian Muslim community. When you go for their meetings, Kenya Kibao, all over the place.
Can we
join that group?
Can we join
No, that's specifically a Muslim group. That's specifically a Muslim group.
Nisha dua, boss. I know these things.
And Kenyans have been accepted there. So this is something that we sometimes have to wrestle with.
Gashago have done the thing.
Where?
But that's more. I want to say that's more religious based because you're saying Muslim, so it's more religious. There's a religious component to it.
I think Washeke does say something here, and I think it goes both ways. see, there's Kenyan Christians, we are not inclusive in the way we hold events and organizations. But I also do think, if I'm gonna go by what Ali just said, is the same thing with Muslims. You have your own thing as well, because
it's religious.
it caters to your religion.
So
more than
okay. So
anything
here's the
else.
thing. You know, like when, for example, Muslims do their events, Kenyan, we're not gonna put the tag Kenya. We're gonna say this is a Muslim event and it's a Muslim event.
Okay.
But the thing with some of these events with tag Kenya, there's, you know, like religion sometimes laced in it. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying people don't know. But a lot of times Muislamu wataangalia hii hapa na ataona, okay, I know imekuwa tagged Kenya, but this is not our event, or this is not our organization. And now I'm just telling you how the average Kenyan Muslim is gonna think living
So
out
let
here
me-
in the
let
But
me
now
ask
here,
you.
before
Okay.
maybe now it's food for thought for
Yeah.
MDKU to try and see, like Omosh said, like, okay, inclusivity then, or as Ruth was saying, it may not. I mean, if it's the same day, that's one thing. But if, let's say, for example, it happens in Kenya, and then you have to travel, that could also be something that can assist.
So
But
it's not even about token inclusivity. It's about create a product. Ask us, you know, like, what is it that you go through? Try to design a product that that we can look at and say, okay, you know,
So-
like maybe this might fit us. But then when we look at the product that's there, you know, currently it's not.
I think
It's
there's
not designed
one.
for us.
I think the
But
one
you know
I mean
what
can
I
fit you.
find-
The one I mean can fit you.
Huh?
What I
The one I
find-
mean you can fit you.
We can talk about that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would have wanted to hear that.
But
I was-
it's not just in Maryland. Yeah. So that I need to make that very clear.
what happens and what I'm identifying with regard to the Muslim community particularly is that because of the speed within which they bury, your response also has to be equally high. Your response time has to be
Fast.
Has to be
very
equally
fast.
fast.
Or much.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what happens with most of this, whether it's an insurance, whether it's a welfare, like Africa Welfare Association, is that they have to there's a verification process,
Yeah.
which delays everything, and they don't have the luxury of that. So we have to look, as we're talking, I was thinking of a model where you have to have previously, you know, identified the individuals. What Ali has mentioned is that it's more critical here because those who die here have a cost that is way higher than
someone
that in Kenya. Because
Yeah.
you said in Kenya it's almost
It's almost
It's
negligible.
negligible, yeah.
insignificant.